Hi folks, this is Slick Slices here. Now, this was the second Taylor's Eyewitness knife I ever got, and I had the ram's horn one, and I saw this one, but it was hideously expensive, over £200, so I didn't buy it. But when it came to my birthday 2 years ago, I think it was, 3 years ago, I asked my wife for this and she bought it for my birthday. And this is in mother of pearl. And this is the knife that I carry for, weddings and funerals and, that sort of occasion. I don't carry it often because I'm absolutely paranoid I'll drop it and smash that beautiful mother of pearl. It's a really nice little knife. It's got this mother of pearl backed with black, I don't know, either fibre or G10 or whatever, liners. And then you've got, of course, the now usual, but still to me spectacular file work running all around the back. And it runs up, of course, into the blade as well. Now, I really like this knife, and it's an absolute favourite of mine. And when I started looking at other Taylor's Eyewitness patterns, another one came up, which was this one. Now again, you'll have seen this knife already. Again, it's a very beautiful bit of mother of pearl. I don't know how well it comes over in the video, but it's just spectacular material. This one doesn't have the liners, the black liners. You just got the mother of pearl over the brass with the bolsters, but that makes this in many ways. It's a slimmer knife like that, but it's also a slimmer knife like that, which makes it a very easy pocket carry knife. So in terms of weddings and funerals, these two in effect share the duty. Now, why am I showing you two knives that you've seen before? Well, because I got another mother of pearl knife from them. This one was particularly special, particularly expensive, and a difficult one for me to think about, but I went for it. I sort of had some reservations and second thoughts, but I decided to keep it because I just really like it. And that's this one. Now this is the 3-blade Stockman pattern, and it's a stunning knife. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful knife. But this one is new old stock, I suppose, if you like. This was sitting in the Bakewell cookshop for a long time. I suspect at least a couple of years. It's difficult to know precisely because they're not dated or anything. But I got it at a very good price. I don't think I would have paid full price for this one, but I got a lot of money off it. And as a result, it came down to a price level that I thought I would give it a shot. And then once I got it, I kind of toyed with whether I would keep it or not. And David said to me, if you're not sure about it, just send it back, full refund, no problem. But I decided to keep it because I just like that mother of pearl so much. It just looks, it's just a spectacular knife. Now, maybe another one will turn up in the future, but if I wanted another one, I'd have to pay full price for it, which I would be reluctant, maybe be a little bit reluctant to do, because I don't want to show this a knife I will carry very much. But it is a nice knife, and some things about it are absolutely stunning. The main clip is great. The action on it is just about perfect. It's a good solid clunk when it opens, and it's I can close it with my thumb, but it doesn't. It's not an easy You know, it's not like it's going to cause me problems. Clip blade in terms of size is longer but slimmer than the Barlow. And almost the same length but broader than the gentleman's clip. But you know, three very nice knives there. The other blades on this, no half stops by the way. I think the only ones that do the half stops on are the Barlows. Not even the slim Barlow has a. Don't think this has a half stop. Nope. And then with two other blades on here, we have. Let's see if I can do this on camera because they're relatively light actions. We have a coping blade. Again, a decent sort of stout coping blade, which works nicely. Okay, no half stop. And then we have the little spay blade, which actually is, again, I suppose is quite a stout little spay blade. And as people keep pointing out to me, when I always say I have no use for a spay blade because I don't spay any animals, there are other uses for a spay blade. As pointed out, they're good for carving spoons, which I don't do very often either. Hollowing out the bowl of a spoon. They also can be used as a ink eraser, but again, I don't really do much ink erasing. I'm generally using a computer to write things these days. What kind of put me off, the action on the two secondary blades is a bit soft. The pin for the pivot here is quite, you know, clearly visible. Even on the other side, not on this end though, funnily enough. And the file work on the back, although it's both springs are very nicely filed, they don't really match up desperately well. So I toyed with the idea of sending this back, but then I just decided no, I really like this knife. It's such a nice piece of cutlery. It's relatively uncommon. I mean, I wouldn't go so far as to call it rare. There is another Stockman in the Bakewell cookshop at the moment in Desert Ironwood, which I'd quite like, but again, Stockmans are expensive, and I'm not sure I want to have a large number of them in my collection at the expense of, you know, for every one of these you could have two other knives. But it's nice to have one. Now this is a Lee White knife, but I think, as I say, it's a few years, at least a couple of years back. It may even be longer than that. Maybe Lee, if you're watching this, you might have some idea of when you might have made this. Because you can tell, even this one, which is 2 years old, I would say the workmanship is probably slightly better. This one, that's only less than a year old, I would guess, is, you know, considerably better than this one that's going back a little bit. I mean, I'm loath to say it's bad, because it's not bad. It just, there are a couple of points about it that if you were being quite picky, you might criticise. In terms of comparators, I don't have a lot of Stockman knives. I have a couple of case examples. One is the large Stockman, and the other is the medium Stockman. So you can sort of see in terms of size where this lies. It's not quite as long as the large Stockman, but it's slightly beefier. You know, the bolsters are wider, the handle's a little bit wider, and in terms of thickness, again, it's a little bit chubbier than the case. The medium one obviously is way smaller in every dimension. The large one is probably the better. Comparator. In terms of UK legality, which is always going to be an issue with larger pocket knives, okay, there's slip joints, so that's a given. The case there is a sort of 3 3/8 inch blade. Cutting edge is under 3 inches, so I'm quite happy with that. I don't have a problem with carrying that, unlike the large trapper, which is just the wrong side of 3 inches. But this is unashamedly 3 inches long on the full blade, and has a cutting edge of 2 3/4. So in terms of cutting edge, there is almost nothing in it. A 1/16 of an inch, maybe, something like that, between the two. But, you know, that could be argued that the blade is over 3 inches. There is no argument with this. It's 3 inches on the dot, and with the cutting edge well below. So I quite like that from a UK legality point of view. Although how much I'll carry this knife, I don't know, because I don't think I've ever really carried the case one more than, you know, once or twice, just to try it out. Now, in terms of the other blades, clumsy me. The case is maybe just a wee bit beefier, and again, just that fraction a bit longer. But again, I would say cutting edges are almost identical. It's just that you've got a bigger tang on the case, because that case is carbon steel, whereas this Taylor's Eyewitness is stainless. And spay blades. Very similar again. You've got the slightly larger tang on the case knife. This time the Taylor's knife is slightly broader. Now, the other problem that you always have with, or potential problem that you have with a Stockman knife, is how well the blades fit together. Because you're always likely to have blade rub with the Stockman knife, and I think you can see that between the coping blade and the main blade, very, 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 very close. And with the way I open knives, there is a very high chance that I'm going to press that against the main blade, or the main blade against the display blade. And there's a good chance that, well, in fact, there is already, they're going to get a bit of blade rub on there. It's likely to happen here as well because they are so close. I don't know whether it's happened yet. There's a very slight mark right about there. Don't know if you'll be able to see it. There it is. That's just fluff on the blade edge there. But beautifully fitted together, because that the coping blade has to be quite dramatically bent. You don't really notice it when you're using the knife, but you do notice it when it's in there. But there's quite a clear space between the blades in there, more than there is in that. Now, of course, case Stockman, but this particular one is really not very expensive at all. A case Stockman in bone or something is going to set you back about half what I paid for this. I've never seen one in mother of pearl. I have no idea what the sort of price range would be, but I would imagine it would be cheaper than the tailors. But the tailors is just still a thing of absolute beauty. And I said to myself I was going to send it back because of the faults I picked with it. But then when I went to actually box it up, I sort of looked at it and fiddled with it a little bit and decided that no, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to keep it. And despite the fact, it's obviously it's a bit shop soiled, some of these, some few scratches on the bolsters, but they'll polish out easily enough. I am now very happy with it, but I did have some moments of doubt when I got it, because it's not as perfect as some of the others that I've got that are just absolutely stunning. I've one other tailors that I was a little bit questioning about, but I decided to keep that because it was one of the ram's horn Barlows, and the material itself is just so beautiful that I couldn't help but hang on to it, despite some of my sort of more the sort of sensible part of me. My head was saying it's maybe not perfect, maybe I should have swapped it for a different one, but actually no, I decided to keep it because the materials are just so beautiful. And so now I have 3 mother of pearl tailor's eyewitnesses. And as I said to my wife, if anything happens to me, I want to be buried with my tailor's eyewitness Barlow in my pocket. She might struggle to work out which one that is now, but it's this one, if anybody asks. Okie doke. So that's it for now. If you like the stuff, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these, please remember to click the notification button and ring the bell, and there'll be something along shortly. Thank you very much. Bye.